virus Pasteur. Term chromatin Fleming. Term virus Pasteur. Term chromatin Fleming. Term linkage Morgan. Term recombination Morgan. Term mutation Hugo de Vries. Term biodiversity popularized by Edward Wilson. Unit of classification taxon, category, rank. Unit of neural system neurons. Functional unit of kidney nephron. Anatomical unit of muscle fiber, muscle cell, functional unit of contraction sarcomere. Functional unit of inheritance genes. Unit of noise pollution dB, decibel. Unit of ozone layer thickness Dobson units do. Functional unit of nature ecosystem. Structural and functional unit of all living organism cell. Reproductive unit in the angiosperm's flower. Unit of water potential Pascal's paw or any other pressure unit. Structural and functional unit of liver hepatic globules. Structural and functional unit between developing embryo, fetus and maternal body placenta. Weight of liver 1.2 to 1.5 kilogram. Weight of kidney 120 to 170 gram. Number of lobes in liver 2. The experimental proof that DNA replicates semi-conservative was given in prokaryotes by Meselson and Stahl, 1958. The experimental proof that DNA replicates semi-conservatively goes in eukaryotes by Taylor, 1958. George Gamow, physicist, proposed that codon was triplet. Hargobind Khurana synthesized RNA molecules with defined combination of bases, homopolymer and copolymers. Nirenberg in cell-free system for protein synthesis finally helped the code to be deciphered. Polynucleotide phosphorylase is called Severo-Ochoa enzyme. Lac-operon was given by Jacobin Monad. Automated DNA sequencers worked on the principle of a method developed by Frederick Sanger. Frederick Sanger developed the method for determination acid sequences in proteins. DNA fingerprinting technique was developed by Alec Jeffreys. Spontaneous generation theory was dismissed by Louis Pasteur. Life comes from pre-existing life. It is the told by Louis Pasteur. Apperin and Haldane proposed that the first form of life could have pre-existing non-living organic molecules. Darwin made a sea voyage in a sail ship, HMS Beagle. Alfred Wallace worked in Malay Archipelago. Use and disuse of organs theory of evolution was given by Lamarck, French naturalist. Malthus work on population. Hugo de Vries brought forth the idea of mutation. Hugo de Vries used the term saltation. Ramdeo Misra revered as the father of ecology in India. Ramdeo Misra formulated the first postgraduate course in ecology in India. Competitive exclusion principle was given by Gauss. Resource partitioning was given by MacArthur. Cost of ecosystem services was given by Robert Costanza. Term biodiversity popularized by Edward Wilson, sociobiologist. Species area relationship was given by Alexander von Humboldt. The importance of species diversity to the ecosystem was given by David Tillman, famous, Royal Botanical Garden, Kew, England. Central Drug Research Institute, CDRI, Lucknow. Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, India. National Botanical Research Institute, NBRI, Lucknow. Strobilanthus kunthiana found in Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Lupinus arcticus, lupine, excavated from Arctic tundra. Phoenix dactylifera, date palm, excavated from King Herod's palace near Dead Sea. Sahiwal cow bred in Punjab through artificial selection and domestication. Hisserdale, sheep develop in Punjab by crossbreeding. Apperin Russia, Haldane England, S.L. Miller America. Wallace worked in Malay Archipelago. Observation supporting evolution by natural selection comes from England. Darwin worked in Galapagos Islands, coelacanth fish caught in South Africa, 1938. Few fossils of man-like bones have been discovered in Ethiopia and Tanzania. About 3 to 4 Maya man-like primate walked in eastern Africa. Australopithecus lived in East African grasslands. Neanderthal man lived in Near East and Central Asia. Erythroxylum coca is native of South America. Fossils of Homo erectus discovered in Java, 1891. Homo sapiens arose in Africa. Greater than 70% livestock population is in India and China. Saccharum barbari grown in North India. Saccharum officinarum grown in South India. IARI New Delhi. Erie, Philippines. Number of salivary glands 3 pairs. Number of portions in stomach 4, cardiac, fundy and pyloric. Stomach stores food for 4 to 5 hours. pH of saliva 6.8. pH of gastric juice 1.8. pH in duodenum 7.8. pH of urine 6. Breathing rate 12 to 16 times per minute. Tidal volume 500 milliliters, or 2,500 to 3,000 milliliters. ERV 1000 to 1100 milliliters. RV 1000 to 1200 milliliters. Water in plasma 90 to 92%. Water in watermelon 92%. Water in herbaceous plants 85 to 90%. Water in human cell 70 to 90%. Colon is divided in 4 parts, ascending, transverse and descending parts. Solubility of CO2 is 20 to 25 times higher than that of O2. Diffusion membrane is made up of 3 layers, total thickness of diffusion membrane less than 1 millimeter, no of wall layer in alimentary canal from esophagus to rectum 4. Gastric gland have 3 type OT cells, mucous neck cells, chief cell and parietal cells. Every 100 milliliters of oxygenated blood can deliver how much O2 to tissues? 5 milliliters. Every 100 milliliters of deoxygenated blood delivers how much CO2 to the alveoli? 4 milliliters. Diameter of pollen grain 25 to 50 micrometer. Diameter of RBC 7 micrometer. Smallest cell mycoplasma 0.3 micron in length. Largest cell egg of an ostrich. Typical eukaryotic cell 10 to 20 micron. Typical eukaryotic plant cell 50 micrometer. Typical plant cell onion cell. Typical eukaryotic cell cycle human cells in culture. Size of bacteria 3 to 5 micron. Typical bacteria 1 to 2 micrometer. Viruses 0.02 minus 0.2 micrometer. Diameter of Golgi body cisternae 0.5 to 1 micron. Diameter of mitochondria 0.2-1 average 0.5 micrometer. Length of mitochondria 1 to 4.1 micron. Length of chloroplast 5 to 10 micrometer. Width of chloroplast 2 to 4 micrometer. Length of E. coli DNA 1.36 millimeters. Length of human DNA 2.2 meters. Pollen grains are generally as spherical. Nucleolus is spherical. Centriole cylindrical. Mitochondria sausage-shaped or cylindrical. RBCs round and biconcave. Mesophyll cell round and oval. Trachea elongated. Columnar epithelium long and narrow. WBC's amoeboid, nerve cell, longest cell, long and branched, Henel's loop hairpin bend, stomach J-shaped. Spleen and kidney bean-shaped. Thymus lobe-shaped, patella cup-shaped, Bowman's capsule double-walled cup-like structure. Heart clenched fist size, oxygen dissociation curve sigmoid, diaphragm dome-shaped, smooth muscle fusiform set IS-shaped. ICWMI Mexico, Taichung native I develops from Taiwan. IR8 developed from Erie, Philippines. Borlaug developed semi-dwarf wheat at ICWMI Mexico. Jaya and Ratna developed in India. Toddy is used in South India. Penicillin was used during World War II to treat American soldiers. Eli Lilly is an American company. A company which got patent rights on basmati rice. American company. Mango tree do not and cannot grow in Canada and Germany. Snow leopard are not found in Kerala forests. High-altitude places greater than 3,500 meter, Rotang Pass near Manali and Mansarovar, in China occupied Tibet. In 1920s prickly pear cactus introduced in Australia. Visiting flamingos and resident fishes compete in South American lakes. Abingdon tortoise were found in Galapagos Island. Barnacle balanus antchathamalis found in rocky sea coasts of Scotland. Rauwolfia vomitoria growing in Himalaya. Amazonian rainforest found in South America. Alexander von Humboldt explored in South America jungles. Dodo extinct from Mauritius, quagga extinct from Africa, thylacine extinct from Australia, Steller's sea cow extinct from Russia, Lake Victoria found in East Africa, Clarius garipinus is African catfish, Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro, Brogel 1990. World Summit held in Johannesburg, South Africa 2002. Montreal Protocol held in Montreal, Canada. Aravalli Hills in Rajasthan. Khasi and Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya. Western Ghat regions are found in Karnataka and Maharashtra. Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas are found in Madhya Pradesh. Ahmed Khan belongs to Bangalore. Ramesh Chandra Dagar Sonipat, Haryana. Ozone hole is particularly marked over Antarctic region. Slash and burn cultivation or jum cultivation done in northeastern states of India. Amrita Devi Bishnoi related to Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Chipko movement started in Garhwal Himalayas, Keoladeo National Park, Bharatpur, Rajasthan. Kangaroo rat found in North American desert. Essential role of air in growth of green plants 1770 Joseph Priestley 1774 Joseph Priestley discovered O2 1831 Robert Brown first to discovered and described nucleus. 1838 Schleiden, German botanist, work on plants. 1839 Schwann, British zoologist, work on both plants and animals. 1855 Rudolf Virchow Omnis cellula e cellula, cells arises from pre-existing cells. Life originate from pre-existing life Pasteur, yeast. Life originated from non-living decaying and rotting matter, spontaneous generation. Life originate from pre-existing non-living organic molecules, RNA, protein, Apparin, Russia, and Haldane, England, chemical evolution. 1856 to 1863 Mendel experiment on garden pea, 7 years. 1860 Julius von Sachs developed hydroponics. 1865 Mendel published his work. 1866 Langdon Down-Downs syndrome. 1869 Friedrich Miescher first identified DNA and named it nuclein. 1891 Henking discovered X-body. 1891 fossil discovered in Java Homo erectus. 1892 Ivanowski discovered virus. 1898 Beherring contagium vivum fluidum, infectious living fluid. 1898 Camillo Golgi discovered, observed Golgi body. 1900 De Vries, Kearns and von Schermach independently rediscovered Mendel's results. 1902 Chromosome movement during meiosis worked out, intestinal CC conical, root hair thread-like, root cap thimble-like, tongue of frog bilobed. Nucleus of vegetative cells irregular, generative cell spindle-shaped, ommatidia of cockroach hexagonal. Anther four-sided, tetragonal. Cotyledon, maize, grass, shield-shaped, archegonium of bryophytes flask-shaped, gills of mollusks feather-like, radula of mollusks file-like, chiasmata X-shaped, testis oval, uterus inverted pair. Fimbriae and clitoris finger-like. Basa recta and hyoid bone U-shaped, duodenum C-shaped, Verhulst prologistic growth curve sigmoid, in female cockroach, seventh sternum is boat-shaped, antennae and anal styles of cockroach thread-like, exponential or geometric growth curve shaped J-shaped, head of cockroach, scapula and sinus venosus of frog triangular, microsporangium near circular in outline and transverse section. Male gonapophysis PR philomere asymmetrical structure, chitinous. Engelmann experiment cladophora green algae. Priestley experiment mint plant. Van Niel experiment purple and green sulfur bacteria. Mendel's work garden pea Pisum sativum. Hugo de Vries' work on mutation evening primrose. Morgan's work Drosophila melanogaster. Griffith experiment Streptococcus pneumoniae. Hershey and Chase experiment bacteriophage bacterial viruses. Meselson and Stahl E. coli bacteria. Taylor's work Vicia faba beans. Melvin Calvin work Algal photosynthesis, Ernst Mayr 1904 to 2004 evolutionary biologist, Matthias Schleiden German botanist. Julius von Sachs German botanist, Theodore Schwann British zoologist. Cornelius van Niel microbiologist. Alfonso Corti Italian anatomist, Dr. W. Dudgeon American missionary teacher. P. Maheshwari Indian botanist. Reginald C. Punnett British geneticist, George Gamow physicist, Alfred Wallasey naturalist, Lamarck French naturalist. Edward Wilson sociobiologist, Paul Ehrlich Stanford ecologist, Ramdio Misra Indian ecologist. Francis Jacob geneticist, Jacques Monod biochemist, Alexander von Humboldt German naturalist and geographer, René Descartes French philosopher, mathematician and biologist, 1905 Law of Limiting Factors Blackman, 1928 Frederick Griffith transformation experiment with Streptococcus pneumoniae, Diplococcus. Coelacanth fish caught in South Africa 1938-1945 Fleming Chain and Florey awarded Nobel Prize. International Code for Botanical Nomenclature International Code of Zoological Nomenclature National Botanical Research Institute ICO, Central Drug Research Institute CO, Indian Botanical Garden Howrah potato spindle tuber disease. Pneumonia-like organisms. Concentration of substrate respiratory rhythm center, medulla. Glomerular filtration rate. Juxtaglomerular apparatus atrial natriuretic factor gonadotropin releasing hormone. Growth hormone. Prolactin thyroid stimulating hormone adrenocorticotropic hormone melanocyte stimulating hormone vasopressin, antidiuretic hormone triiodothyronine thyrocalcitonin parathyroid hormone cholecystokinin gastric inhibitory peptide. CICT harvesting complex phosphorylseric acid oxaloacetic acid ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide coenzyme. Coenzyme a tricarboxylic acid cycle or citric acid cycle electron transport chain respiratory quotient plant growth regulators naphthalene acetic acid. 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid gibberellic acid pollen mother cell, microscope mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Primary endosperm nucleus human chorionic gonadotropin human placental lactogen reproductive and child health care. Sexually transmitted Dyncasis venereal disease. Reproductive tract infections World Health Organization maternal mortality rate. Infant mortality rate, intrauterine devices, oral contraceptive pills, medical termination of pregnancy, assisted reproductive technologies, zygote, intrafallopian transfer, gamete, intrafallopian transfer, intrauterine insemination, artificial insemination technique. Born on the 5th of July 1904 in Kempten, Germany. Ernst Mayr, the Harvard University evolutionary biologist. Mayr died at the age of 100 in the year 2004. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, in vitro fertilization, embryo transfer, sickle cell anemia, phenylketonuria, non-histone chromosomal proteins, small nuclear RNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA, soluble RNA, untranslated regions, Human Genome Project, ethical, legal, and social issues. Bacterial artificial chromosome, regions, Human Genome Project, ethical, legal, and social issues. Bacterial artificial chromosome, yeast artificial chromosome. Expressed sequence tags, single nucleotide polymorphism, variable number of tandem repeats, School of Cytogenetics and Radiation Research, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. Cell-mediated immunity, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, human immunodeficiency virus, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, National AIDS Control Organization, non-governmental organization, cellular oncogenes, computed tomography, magnetic resonance imaging. Lysergic acid diethylamide. Multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology, International Center for Wheat and Maize Improvement. Mexico. International Rice Research Institute, Philippines. Single-cell protein, lactic acid, bacteria, sewage treatment plants, biochemical oxygen demand, dissolved oxygen, Coty and Village Industries Commission. Bacillus thuringiensis. Nucleopolyhedra virus, integrated pest management, Escherichia coli RY13. Origin of replication, plasmid tumor-inducing plasmid thermus aquaticus. Polymerase chain reaction, genetically modified organisms, RNA interference, adenosine deaminase, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. National Committee for Environmental Planning and Coordination, 1972, Ministry of Environment and Forests, 1984, Indian National Science Academy. Net primary productivity. Gross primary productivity, gross national product, gross domestic product, grazing food chain, detritus food chain. International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, Central Pollution Control Board, compressed natural gas, parts per billion, parts per million. Friends of Arcata Marsh, Dobson units, decibel. Chlorofluorocarbons, Joint Forest Management, 1980. Dependency in NCERT biology, algae are classified into 3 classes, depending on the type of poem and the type of stored food. Kingdom fungi is divided into various classes based on morphology. Algae are classified into 3 classes, depending on the type of poem and the type of stored food. Kingdom fungi is divided into various classes based on morphology of the mycelium, mode of spore formation and fruiting bodies. Simple epithelium is divided into 3 types, squamous, cuboidal and columnar, on the basis of structural modifications of the cells. 4. Pollination can be divided into 3 types, autogamy, geitonogamy, xenogamy, depending on the source of pollen. Respiratory quotient depends upon the type of respiratory substrate used during respiration. Neurons can be divided into 3 types, multipolar, bipolar and unipolar, based on the number of axon and dendrites. Muscles are of 3 types, skeletal, visceral and cardiac, based on their location. Muscles are classified as red and white fibers based primarily on the amount of red-colored myoglobin pigment in them. Methods of locomotion performed by animals vary with their habitat and the demand of the situation. 10. Nature of nitrogenous wastes formed and their excretion vary among animals, mainly depending on the habitat, availability of water. 11. ABO blood grouping is based on the presence or absence of the 2 surface antigens on the RBCS, namely A and B. 12. Mechanism of breathing vary among different groups of animals depending mainly on their habitats and level of organization. 13. Chromosomes can be classified into 4 types, metacentric, submetacentric, acrocentric and telecentric, based on the position of the centromere or constriction. 14. Enzymes are classified into 6 classes based on the type of reactions they catalyze. 15. Prophase is divided into 5 phases, code, LZPDD, get out YTS. Based on chromosomal behavior, 16. Membrane protein can be classified as integral or peripheral, depending on the case of extraction. 17. Succession of plants is called hydrarch or XEN. Plants is hydrarch or xerarch based on the nature of the habitat. 18. Nature and properties of soil is dependent on the climate, weathering process, soil is transported or sedimentary, and how soil development occurred. 19. Primary productivity depends on the 0 plant species inhabiting a particular area, I variety of environmental factors, E availability of nutrients, and IV photosynthetic capacity of plants. 20. The rate of decomposition is controlled by chemical composition of detritus and climatic factors,